It's Wednesday with all of its splendor. It's a beautiful day. I just wanted to take the time out so that we can go over taking risks. Taking risks. Yesterday we talked about how to take risks, that we had to give up all of the myths about ourselves and all of the shame that's binding us. Today we want to talk about one of my favorite subjects that I've been thinking about. I've been tarrying over. I'm at the library right now. And then I wrote a couple of points down. So I wanted to talk about taking risks despite others' opinions. Despite others' opinions. Because oftentimes we allow others' opinions to arrest us and to hold us hostage. And we unknowingly or unconsciously allow them to imprison us in our mind. And so as a result, we stop ourselves from being all that we could be and maximizing our potential. We could have been rich a long time ago had we not been considering or thinking about other people's opinions. We could have helped somebody a long time ago had we not been thinking about what so-and-so might think or what so-and-so, how so-and-so might feel. Sometimes and that's a derivative of how we feel about ourselves and our personality and how we perceive people. And so one of the things that holds us hostage is that because we seek other people's approval, we tend to either think that they're smarter than us, they are happier than us, or they have more than us. And that's what attracts us to seek their approval. Growing up, we are always trained to either do two things. We're trained to impress people, or we trained ourselves to look for attention. Our whole lives, from infancy on up, we were taught or bred to either seek attention or seek other people's approval, or think that we're not as good. In some households, I'm just saying, somehow think that we're not as good as others. And so we become dependent on people's thinking. We become dependent on people's ways. We become dependent on people's approval. And as a result, when we became adults, it trickled over. And so there you have a self-esteem issue. The self-esteem issue comes into play, and now you're held hostage, like you're in Iraq or something. You're held hostage, but you're mentally held hostage by somebody else's thinking, seeking it. And what happens, and so as a result of us seeking people's approval and people's opinions, we could become easily disappointed because we look to these people for approval. And so we become instantly sad. We become instantly, we go internal with it and feel sad. We feel disappointed. Why? Because we look to these people for approval. We look at these people's opinions because they count. We allow them to have more weight than God's opinion of us. We allow them to have more weight than ourselves. Are you hearing me? And so as a consequence, we go through life with a straitjacket on, and a straitjacket on, and written on that straitjacket is everybody's name who carries weight in your mind. Are you hearing? And I came here and I want to just talk about taking the risk. Despite all of that, you have to become independent of people's thinking, independent of people's ways. It doesn't matter what they do, what they say, how they feel about you. All that matters is what God said about you and what you say about yourself. He said that you're the apple of his eye, and that accounts for something, because he's all powerful. And so what I wanted to do is that in order for us to go to the next level and taking risk, I wanted to dispel. I just have a few thoughts because I want to stay within the time frame of 15 minutes. And if need be, I'll just go ahead and finish it tomorrow. But I wanted to take the time out to talk about three types of people. And then I'll talk about another three types tomorrow. That's extremely opinionated in our lives. These are in everybody's life. The first person is the people with agendas. These people, they only stick around for two reasons. They stick around because you either have something that they want, you either have money, you have prestige, you're connected to other people that they can get connected to, or you do something for them. You take them to the market, you drive them places, they don't have a vehicle. These are people with agendas. Adversely, some people may stick around you because you are inferior to them. And so what they do is that they build themselves up off of you. Are you hearing me? They make themselves feel good by putting you down. People with agendas. And as a result of them making themselves feel good, you go home internally messed up, internally feeling like you're lower than a footprint. And because of that, you conjure up in your mind, that makes you want to seek their approval even more. Are you paying attention? And so because you want to seek their approval and you're in your mind, you're feeling like, I got to call so-and-so and ask that person's opinion. And so they become manipulative in their thinking because they know that you're coming to them for their opinion. And they know that you're coming to them asking them questions. And so because they are agenda oriented and they're extremely manipulative, they cast the opinion to be conducive to wherever their agenda is going or whatever they want you to do. You have to cut them. You understand? You have to become independent. You have to cut the umbilical cord of their thinking, of their opinions. The second person that I wanted to talk about that's in our lives, and I'm going somewhere with this. The second person that I wanted to talk about in our lives are the people that will try to keep you where they first met you. Let me say it again. The second type of people are the people that try to keep you where they first met you. So say, for instance, if they met you at Starbucks, if a person met you at Starbucks, or I'm sorry, if they met you in a job and you were, let's use a car dealership. So you're in this, you're at work and you are let's say a car salesman. And what happens is that because you're a car salesman and now that person is your boss, they don't want you to get the same title as them. And so what they do is that they don't necessarily, how do I want to say it? They don't necessarily tell you no. They just cast doubt in your head. Why would you want to go up for that new position they want to ask? Or God tells you to go build an ark like Noah. They're not the people that say that you can't build the ark, but they'll cast doubt in your head as to why you make you rethink what God said. And they'll say something like, God tells you to go build an ark. They'll say something like, well, with what wood? What tools? How can you build the ark? Are you hearing me? And these opinions will try to keep you from going to the next level in your life. Gotta cut it. These opinions, what they'll do is that they prohibit you from being all that you can be in life. Are you hearing me? These people will try to prohibit you. It's funny because, even with the whole, in my life, I became this minister, and you have those ministers that have been preaching for a long time. And some of them have never gotten an engagement to preach at another church. And, I had I've been honored to be able to preach at a couple of churches, so on and so forth. That minister who met me when I wasn't a minister will become envy because I had the opportunity to preach somewhere else. And so because they want to keep me where they first met me, they'll say things to help me, to try to get me to internalize my gifting. Got to cut them. You got to think independently of them. The third people, and I'm almost at my time. The third person is the people that love you. The opinions of people that love you. Sometimes people that love you will stagnate the risk that God is trying to get you to take. They will try to prohibit you from being or getting hurt and trying to be the person that you want to be. I remember the story of Lenny Kravitz. Lenny Kravitz, his mom was the lady on the Jeffersons, on Roxanne. What Lenny Kravitz did is that he went to California and he slept in his car to become successful. Surely his mother wouldn't have approved of it, but he did what he had to do. And as a result, he takes care of his family, so on and so forth. And I'm saying to you, the people that love you the most can become your biggest hindrances. Let me say that again. The people that love you the most will stop you from taking your biggest risk to make your biggest success. Because in their minds is that they don't want to see you hurt. They don't want to see you destroyed. They don't want to see you down. They don't want to see you depressed. And so they'll do anything to stop you from being that. And not knowing that your depression, that your failures, that your disappointments, all of that builds character building moments so that to make you strive, to make you want to be the best that you can be. Taking risks costs. It costs the cutting off of the loved ones, because these loved ones will love you so much that they love the future out of you. Are you hearing me? I'm saying to you, and I'll use this example, and I'm gonna close with this. I remember when I was in college, and I was determined. I was determined to get this degree, but I had a business at the mall. And I was hiring people at my business, and they were stealing from me. I mean, I would look it was in the mall. I would look from the top I knew I had to take an exam, and I would look at the top. I would be on the balcony, and I would have a worker down there. I'm looking at the worker, and she would take the money from the customer, not put it in the cash register, but put it in her bra. And I couldn't do anything because I had to take this exam. I had to get this degree. And that became my priority. That was the risk. So much so that I wasn't even making the money to pay my rent at the mall on my business. I was suffering. My bills became lax, but I wanted the degree. How bad do you want what you need? And as a result of that, my mom called me. She said, look, you can go ahead and quit school and go and do so. I was hurting that bad. You understand? And as a natural love of a mother, knowing and seeing what I was going through, she didn't know that actually she was hindering me more than helping me. She was seeing the pain that was in my eyes. So she tried to curtail it or prohibit me from doing that, because she didn't want me to go through all of that. And as a result, I had a lot of pain. And it was crazy because I even wound up, somebody tried to, somebody just didn't even put any money in the cash register one day. And I had to fire 23 people. Are you hearing me? I had to go through a lot to get it. The question that I'm saying to you, and I'm going to end with this. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want whatever you have to be in life? How bad do you want to unleash that potential? In order to unleash that potential, you have to take risk of casting out the opinions of others. You have to listen with intent to that person that has the agenda. Listen to them carefully. You have to monitor their behavior. You have to step outside the comfort zone of being around that person that's trying to keep you where they first met you. If you think that you can do a better job, get another position in that job, then do it. Don't worry about what they think. Then do it. And thirdly, you have to cut the opinions of the loved ones. Yeah, because if they're going to be there, if they love you so much, they'll be there for you, even in your failure. As a result, I did graduate, and I gave her what she asked for. Do you hear me? Because I got put out of school. I said, Ma, when I was 24, I said, is there anything in life that I can do for you for all that you've done for me? And she said, you've never walked across the stage. I never got a chance to see you walk across the stage. So I did it. But I had to cut the thoughts and her feelings about what I was going through off. 3 types of people. Those with agendas, those that would try to keep you where they first met you, and those that'll try to love it out of you. And taking risk, you gotta cut all them off. You have to become an independent thinker and not even think about what they thinking, how they feel, because all of them have a motive. Every last one of them. One has a motive to try to keep you safe from hurt, harm, or danger. Another one is try to keep you from being over top of them or keep you from being better than them. Another one is there to try to suck the blood out of you. You hear me? Agenda people. They'll see you with no money. They'll see you with doing bad. But if the pastor asks for some money and they've never even sat down and talked to the pastor, they'll give it to you. They see you with nothing. They see you struggling. But if they got a girl, they'll go buy the girl or take the girl to dinner and see you struggling. Agenda people. I'm saying to you, God is going to take you wherever you need to go to be all that you can be. But you have to take the risk and building your own ark like Noah. Despite they told him, they laughed at him. Read the Bible. They laughed at him. They joked him. All of that. And he was swimming on top of the water while they all drowned in the water. I'm grossly over my time at 17 minutes. Hopefully this was helpful. You can go to my website for more encouragement, www.richardtcook.com, www.richardtcook.com.org, whatever. And I'm just asking that you just pay it forward. That's all I'm saying. You pay it forward because it's not about us, but it's about making life better for others. I love you. Let's pray. Father, I just ask that this message would go forth and help somebody. I'm just asking that you allow them to take the risk of building the ark that you're going to provide for them. Don't worry about other people's opinions. Don't worry about what they think. Allow them to go boldly where no man has gone before. We thank you in advance, Father. In Jesus' name, amen.